Welcome back, everybody. This is Bio with Sun Chasing Success. We're here for another episode. Got another amazing guest today. Basically, this is Jedu Armar. He's the founder of Paradise Sun Snacks, and he aims to innovate the snack industry and create a new category in supermarkets by offering 100% sun-toasted coconut chips coming straight out of Ghana. And right now they've got product lines they're developing. They've got a product called Beach Babe, which is a lightly salted, savory flavor, and another product called Sweet Ting, which is a lightly sweetened flavor. And he's going to be updating his website soon, but you can go to Instagram at Paradise Sun Snacks, or you can go to his personal Instagram, Jedu Armar. That's Jeduarmar. And without any further ado, welcome, Jedu Armar, to Sun Chasing Success.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to finally be joining you.
Absolutely,
obviously,
man.
we've been in contact, and I just love the vibe that you're on, and I love what you're doing. So I think this is a great time to obviously get together and talk about how we're planning on trying to change the perception of Black people and those in the diaspora. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. And it's exciting to make the connection. It's so funny because this idea of the sun and, my idea of I've always heard the term sun chasing, like people who like the beaches and tropical weather. And then when I saw your Paradise Sun Snacks, I knew that I had to interview you and talk with you about your brand and this concept of the sun, not only because of the historical idea of the sun, what it means in African culture, but then also the solar power, the idea of solar energy, and then health and wellness. So, man, it's great to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, man. Give us a little bit of a background on, you say you were born in the UK to a mixture of Ghanaian and Senegalese parents?
Yep.
Give us a little bit of background on how you grew up, just a summary, and then, some of your education and how you got into the entrepreneurial ideas.
No problem. So as you were just saying, my parents are both first generations in terms of being in England right now. But they're first generation. My mother's Senegalese and my father is Ghanaian, and they're kind of both instilled with the traditional culture and the traditional ways of growing up, raising a family, having a secure job and things like that. So I would definitely say that education was definitely at the forefront of our family. Anyway, I had some very successful cousins on my dad's side who have done such a good job, gone to such good schools and things like that. So there was always a little bit of pressure on me being one of the youngest in the family, just to kind of show out and kind of show that I too can be a part of this generational boom of success. Not to say that the generation before weren't successful. They all end up being very successful in whatever they were doing. Had people who were at bank and one or two others. My dad's an architect, other family doing other things, IT, all these types of things. And so I think for us, it was very, very important to kind of uphold that reputation and uphold that standard and definitely excel beyond that point. And so I think from a young age, my parents always wanted me to go to the best schools possible and have the best education possible. So when I was younger, I started out in an all-boys elementary school, believe it or not.
Okay.
Obviously, past kindergarten. I started out in all-boys school, and I was able and lucky enough to make a lot of good connections and a lot of good people along the way there. And actually, one of my good friends who I met at that school is now just starting his first year at HBS. So, I mean,
what can you? Harvard Business School.
Yep.
Wow.
Harvard
Okay.
Business School. That's great. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that should kind of tell you kind of the standard that we were trying to uphold. And I think he's the only person from that school that made it to Harvard Business School. I know a couple others definitely went to Oxford, Cambridge, but this is the first guy from the UK and from my friend group anyway that went to HBS. So I mean, it's definitely a big thing. From there, my middle school was also a very, very good school, and my parents decided to get me over to a boarding school. So I was also lucky to be in that type of situation. And when you're in boarding school, you realize that there's certainly levels to this life. There's levels to wealth and success that you wouldn't otherwise see elsewhere.
So you were growing up around some kids that you had exposure to things you never even thought about, or
right.
Really, did this open your mind a lot at that point?
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? I would say 100%. I think you when you're in there, you don't really understand. You just think, oh wow, this is just someone's life. But when you get out, you're just like, holy cow, like that is someone's life, or this is the opportunities that one could get. And you know, the good thing is I didn't take that experience and say, oh my God, I'm going to use all these people one day in my life. It was more, I'm going to make genuine friendships and make genuine friends along the way. And hopefully whatever happens, happens. But of course, when you're that young, you're only seeing maybe 10 days ahead, right? You're not really looking that far.
Right.
But no, I definitely was exposed to a lot of things that looking back at it, not many people had the opportunity to be exposed to. And yeah, I think boarding school taught me a lot of things. It taught me how to live with people, how to people manage, but most importantly, it taught me how to become a bit more of a leader. And I think that was the main thing that really shaped me as a teen. I was always an athlete, and I was always quite sporty.
What sports did you play, by the way?
Yeah. So I played football, rugby, and
that's the world. That's for those Americans listening. That's the world football, meaning soccer.
World football. Yes, soccer. The round ball, not the
right. Just to clarify for any Americans that are listening.
Yeah. Yeah. So they were my two main sports. I played a bit of cricket, tennis, golf, all these different sports. Real tennis, sport that most people don't really understand what it is, but it is, you know, these are the types of exposures that you get when you're in that sort of environment on a daily basis. And it was a blessing that I had the opportunity to express myself in that way, because I think for me, sport was one of those things that it definitely kept me grounded and kept me humble. You're taught to win gracefully and you're taught to lose gracefully. And I remember there was one day, so we had this kid in my high school, and his dad was a national hero in the UK. He had won the World Cup, Rugby World Cup with the England national team. And that was just incredible. And one day we lost. And maybe it's not being around his dad, but being around him, he had adopted this philosophy from his dad. And I remember, I can't forget it. I can never forget it. After we lost a game, he turned around and he said, remember this feeling, remember this moment. Don't let it happen again.
Wow.
And these are just little things that 16, 17-year-old kids are
amazing, huh?
Adopting. And you don't really get that in an everyday public school environment. I would imagine a lot of these kids had parents that were business owners, were leaders, were working with people that had teams. Yeah.
So it's almost like the kids had a little of a microcosm in sports where they could do what
Yeah.
daddy does or behave the way daddy
Right.
does or mother does.
Right.
And apply that in their
exactly.
teams and their sports and things like that. And what the parents probably tell them, when you lose, think about it this way and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah.